if you have just a little bit of time to invest in yourself, the amount of knowledge, information, connections, relationships that you are going to get by just investing a little bit of time is going to outweigh anything that you could possibly ever do.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Louisiana Farm Bureau podcast. I'm Karl Wiggers, your host. I'm here today with Racheal Duncan. She's a farmer, farm wife, super mom, many things.
You're making me sound a lot better than what I think I am.
You're not a guest. You're not a new face to the podcast. We have talked to you, or a new voice to the podcast. Talked to you and Robert the past few years. Y'all have been involved in our YF&R. And before we get too much into your introduction, you're going to talk to me about who you are. But for anybody curious, we're not in our studio. We're here at the American Farm Bureau Convention in San Antonio, Texas. It is January 25th. And you just finished moderating a discussion meet.
Did.
We'll talk more about that in a second. But Racheal, tell me about who you are, and I guess give me the brief resume with Farm Bureau.
Sure. So I am married to Robert Duncan, fourth generation farmer. We are blowing and going on our farm operation. We've got soybeans, cattle, kids. And cut flowers.
I was about to say, don't leave the flowers out.
I'm not. I can't leave those out.
That's your baby. Aside from the three girls, that's really the baby.
Yeah, we'll go with that. It's an extra baby because the babies can help me with it.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's little child labor never hurt anybody.
Never.
Do they actually help, or they make a mess?
Okay, yeah, they do kind of make a mess. I'll tell them to you can cut these flowers. Don't cut these because Mama has to use those. And then next thing I know, they're going and chopping them off.
Shredded.
Right at the bud, and then I can't use them. Yeah.
Brady has discovered scissors and how to use them, my 2-year-old. And it's pretty impressive that he can do it. But because he can do it, he wants to do it and cut everything under the moon. And it's terrifying.
Yes.
So we have to
the girls walk around the house going open, shut, open, shut. This is how we cut. Yeah.
That's terrifying. All right. So fourth generation farm, cows, kiddos, cut flowers, soybeans. Robert farms with his dad.
Yeah,
there's a mix there.
Yeah, I mean, his dad is typically at the farm every day. He's more supervising.
There you
Robert's the grunt work.
I get it.
I'm the emotional support when needed.
Support system.
No, he calls on me all the time when he needs me.
So you and Robert have been involved in Louisiana Farm Bureau for a while. Y'all recently were the Young Farmers and Ranchers chair.
Yes.
Together, and that's really where I guess I feel like I got to know y'all the best, doing stories with y'all and coming out to the farm and seeing y'all at convention and at the state office for board meetings. But what's your what's y'all's journey? Y'all came through the whole system. I feel like y'all started at the bottom,
we started
all the way through the
district seat. Yeah. Well, we started on a parish level as our parish wife and our chair, and then we kind of got thrown into the district seat, and then after that we worked our way up through executive committee, and now here we are.
So through executive committee, y'all became the chair, and y'all oversaw the entire committee for a couple of years.
Yeah, Robert and I did it as a couple. Robert sat on the state board, he took the YF&R seat on the state board.
Right.
And but we oversaw it as a couple.
What was that experience like for y'all? I mean, what was it eye-opening? Was it
fulfilling? It was a daunting task. More so for him than me, just because he had that state board seat. But it got us to meet a lot more people, not necessarily even with YF&R, but people on the state board and, other farmers and ranchers across the state too. So it just opened up a lot of doors for us.
You literally said it, but opened up a lot of doors. Segue perfectly into what I feel like Farm Bureau does.
Yes.
I mean, it kind of gets you in the doors. It puts you in rooms with people that you may not have found yourself in rooms with before, be it state representatives, U.S. congressmen, whoever it may be, other farmers and ranchers.
And a lot of people know our story, but for those that don't, YF&R Farm Bureau, our personal operation wouldn't be what it is today without the support of YF&R and Farm Bureau. Yes, we would have gotten into, our farm to table meat. I maybe would have gotten into flowers eventually, but without that support, man. it would have taken a lot longer.
How did tell that story? How did Farm Bureau open that door? How did Young Farmers and Ranchers open that door?
So let's see. We started. I went to the grocery store. I think it was back in 2016, 2017. I went to the grocery store. I was buying beef at the store. And I'm like, why am I spending so much money at the grocery store on meat when we've got cows literally in our backyard?
Mm-hmm.
So I came home and I told Robert that. I'm like, why can't we butcher some of our steers? Why can't we butcher our own meat and eat what we are producing? He was like, let's try it. So that first year that we did it, we fed 2 steers. We took those 2 steers, the other halves, like we took a half ourselves, and then family members took the other halves. And we're like, if it's not quite right, if we're not feeding the right thing to get like the right marbling or the correct weight put on these animals, like we'll be able to make it right when it comes to family. Like we'll give them another half later on or something like that. So that's why we did 2. We started really small. The next year, the meat turned out great. More people wanted it.
I can testify. It's
yes,
solid.
Y'all bought some too.
Yes.
I forgot about that. But yeah, so like word got out, more people started coming to us, and then we're like, okay, well maybe we should look into maybe doing a custom label. That's a very daunting task. Mm-hmm. Robert picked up the phone, called a friend of ours from Farm Bureau, and was like, hey, I know y'all do this. Help me out. Like, what's the first step? And
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, it boomed from the moment that we made that first phone call. It's like everything fell into place perfectly and so easily because of those connections and because of all of the extra help that we had within Farm Bureau to get our label created, to get the right butcher, to even the right supplier for our feed. Like it all just fell so well and so perfectly. And I'm not saying that would not have happened, but it definitely would not have happened as fast as it did without.
They probably condensed that timeline a lot for y'all.
Majorly. So that's kind of just a little bit of the story with our beef. And then when it comes to the cut flowers, it's hilarious because I had this idea of doing this cut flower farm. I brought it to Robert. He thought I was absolutely crazy. He was like, who in their right mind is going to buy flowers when they can go to the grocery store and buy flowers? I'm like, let me try it. Just let me try it. He was like, no, we're not doing that. I'm not tilling up the backyard and letting you try to grow some plants when you can't keep the plants on the front porch alive. So I was like, okay.
Reasonable. That's reasonable.
It is. I'll give him that. But that year at convention in New Orleans, we sat down with the rest of our YF&R committee. So I think we were secretary treasurer that year,
okay.
On executive committee. So that was 2019, the summer of 2019. And I pitched this idea to him because Robert was like, y'all got to listen to this crazy idea Racheal has. I told everybody about it, and so many people's mouths like hit the floor because they were like, dude, you've got to let her do that. That's a genius idea. Like nobody in the state is doing anything like that with cut flowers and producing it to where people can come and build their own bouquet from something that's locally grown, and especially out of the back of a 66 GMC truck that we had. Like it all just kind of was like, okay, let me put my foot in my mouth because I didn't think that was going to go the way it did.
Robert did not expect that to go that way.
He did not. So I went home after convention. That's halfway through the growing season for the summer. I mean, I planted my first round of seeds the beginning of July to try to get a harvest that fall. And halfway through the growing season, with a small fall crop, produced enough stems for me to sell to make more than 3 acres of our soybeans. And that's on a 16th of an acre.
Yeah.
It was so small, but it produced so much. I mean, a lot went into it, me studying and trying to figure out what flowers work best in our area and our climate and produce the best and whatnot. But it's
probably also some really trial and error with customers too, what customers want. Right. I guess you probably did some of that research before you put any seeds in the ground, right?
I did, and then I looked at doing a CSA the following year, and there's a lot of stuff that I've cut out since then, like stuff that is a little more finicky. It takes a lot more time and effort into producing it. So I'm just like, I'll nix that, and we'll keep the sunflowers and zinnias. So, I mean, just little things like that.
What did Robert say when y'all did the math and put it all on a spreadsheet that first year?
Okay, I definitely should let you do this a lot sooner.
Was he like, let's plow up the rest of the backyard right now?
No, he did not. But I have taken a little bit every year and just kind of keep growing. And hopefully this year we're going to maybe do some agritourism stuff.
Oh, wow. Bringing people to the house.
I'm so excited. We're trying to get it in the works. We've got a perfect piece of land. And I mean, people are calling me all the time wanting to come out and cut their own flowers, bring their kids to come cut flowers.
I can imagine it. You're a photographer. You're a photographer too. I was like, wait a second.
Pictures. Yeah. So we have the opportunity and the ability to do it, so why not do it?
So you're just going to plant a big old field. It's beautiful and ready to roll.
I hope so.
Let's go.
Let's go.
That's awesome. I mean, you don't have anything else on your books for the next couple of years, right?
Nothing.
Let's talk about that. So that's a really awesome story, an awesome way that shows what Farm Bureau helped, how it helped to grow your personal farm, but it's also helped to grow you personally. I know y'all's leadership on the state committee, like it made you who you are now.
It really has. I will tell you this. 5 years ago, I would have never thought I would have the confidence to walk up to a state senator, a state representative, shake their hand, tell them who I am, give them a little bit about my story, and then tell them what they need to help me with. I would have never had the confidence to do that. But the leadership that Louisiana Farm Bureau has invested in me has given me that.
Yeah.
And the opportunities that have opened up from that are just, I mean, they're amazing. And I'm trying to take as much as I can while I can.
Yeah, it's kind of like a superpower. I mean, think about what you just said. Like walking up to someone that could, I mean, they're everyday people and we know that.
Right.
We're not crazy, but also they're important folks. Like, and they have a lot of like people vying for their attention and to have the confidence to walk into their office and say that, like that's pretty impressive. And Farm Bureau has done that for you. That's really awesome. So that didn't just come from showing up at your YF&R committee meetings. Where do you think you got the most of that confidence, that leadership?
Well, it's
where did that come from?
It's been the experiences and the opportunities. So going to leadership conferences, going to the National Leadership Conference, the YF&R Conference, the Fusion Conference, stuff like that. Making connections, having relationships with people, and just, listening to peers, seeing what they're doing, and just trying to, get better myself.
I've not done it from y'all's side of the table, I guess. I've been there with a camera, but when y'all go to DC and make those hill visits, like you're flexing that muscle, you're doing that thing, and of course by doing that multiple times, getting those reps, you're going to get more confident doing that, right?
It really, really helps. I will say I've been to DC with state YF&R 3 or 4 times now. I would have to really think back to count it all. But this past spring, so spring of 2024, I got the opportunity to go to DC with American Farm Bureau to do their women's leadership boot camp. I got selected for that. They pick 15 people throughout the nation, and you do this very intensive training, and within that training, they send you to Capitol Hill by yourself.
Oh, so good luck.
I had to make my appointments. I had to go and meet with representatives and or their staffers by myself, and I would have never done that on my own. It was intimidating, even though I've been there multiple times and done it multiple times and met with these people multiple times.
Did you call Andy Brown and say, Andy?
I did, dude. Andy was
help me out, dude.
He was my saving grace. He and Megan Grablaw, they set me up to where I had templates to send the Congress people, their staffers or anybody in their office. It was a template. I just had to fill it out. It was very professional, and I mean, I am so thankful for them.
I was kind of kidding. That's all. I didn't know if that would be breaking the rules or.
No,
if
they helped me so much. And even a couple weeks before, I called and was like, "Hey, I have this meeting at this time with this person. What are some good issues to bring up?" And Andy helped guide me in the direction that I needed to go and the conversation that I needed to have.
Yeah, that's so awesome. I'm fascinated by that boot camp because it's a week and
it's not even a week.
Oh, it's a few days, and they're just sending you off to the wolves. Hey, go after it, get after it.
So much within those couple days, but I mean, I was literally like a sponge, just trying to consume as much as I could.
How have you used that back home? Like, has that affected the way you handle your cut flowers
Well,
or handle
I will
your
tell you that
marketing of your beef?
interviewing with you, I feel like has gotten so much better. One, because I can remember you coming out to the farm and interviewing me, and I'm like, okay, wait, repeat that question. Let's edit that clip.
Part of that was probably me
No, I think
asking
it was
a
all
poor
me.
question.
No, I
but-
think it was all me. But I mean, even, you know, just being able to bring up issues at our parish meetings and stuff like that. I mean, it's given me the confidence to be able to do it.
That's really what it's all about. Like, and now that you've been around Farm Bureau for a minute, you know it really all starts at the parish anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So having those state experiences, getting to go to DC with boot camp, traveling to Capitol Hill, all that is good experience and practice, but you have to start this stuff at the parish level.
Yep.
You have to start it in your committee meetings at the parish or your board meetings or whatever
Absolutely.
is happening.
And
that's where the rubber meets the road.
Absolutely. And having the support from people in the parish is amazing. That has helped a lot too. I mean, they're pushing us to continue to do more. We're here supporting you. We're backing you. Whatever you need, just let us know.
Yeah,
so that's
helps really
a lot.
nice. Just go. Whatever you want to do, go for it.
Yep.
That's a great segue into what we're doing now. You're here at American Farm Bureau. You don't have a official name badge on your
yet.
collar, but there's one coming, right?
There is. I should have it for next convention. next year, next
You're
January.
here volunteering as a young farmer and rancher, but you're about to make your way onto the national committee, right?
I am.
That's amazing.
I had to put in a lengthy application and I got selected. Did an interview over the phone. I mean, it was just a conversation interview. You know, they just wanted to get to know me, my personality, hear my story, and a couple weeks later, I get an email, congratulations, we've selected you for the next committee, and it's a 2-year term. So my onboarding is in April, and from there I will
be serving. You'll
Yes.
be traveling to DC for meetings, I'm guessing, or
Yes.
do those bounce around? You don't even know. Do you even know yet?
I know some stuff. They've given me like months to plan for when things are going to happen, but I don't know like specific locations or specific dates yet. So I do know that I'll be going to DC sometime in April. We have a summer meeting and a fall meeting. Then they meet again in or at the national convention, and then they'll meet again at leadership or fusion, whatever it is, because that rotates every other year.
And you'll also be working at those events?
Yes. So from what I've heard from current committee members or committee members that are about to get off, like the big horse is convention, like national convention. That's where a lot of work goes into. I mean, literally boots on the ground working from, you know, the moment you get here.
More than just one discussion meet, probably.
Right. They put on all of the contests, the YF&R contest, and it's a lot of moving parts, a lot of working parts, and it takes a lot of all hands on deck for it. So.
Right. How is that going to be? I know it's early, you don't really know yet, but based on what you've heard from others, is it just going to be an extension of what the experience you've gotten on the state level in the committee?
Yes, it will be, and it's just going to be a lot broader. I'm going to get to see a lot more, you know, throughout the U.S. when they have, you know, these summer and fall meetings. It's always at some new place within the U.S. So I'll get to see.
So you'll bounce around different states for meetings?
Yep.
That's going to be awesome.
And they've also mentioned to me that, you know, other states may call me to go to like their leadership conferences and speak and, you know, tell my story.
That's awesome.
Tell about our operation, tell about my time on, you know, the committee and whatnot. So it's
tell about sitting in a hospitality suite and having your husband have to eat his own words.
Yes.
That's going to be a great story to get to tell. So that's really, really cool. I'm super excited for you. What's the thing you're most excited about in this next couple of years that you'll have on the committee?
There's actually a couple things.
Okay.
So, I mean, all the traveling, all of the meeting new people, seeing all these different like farming operations and getting to experience things that I would not be able to, you know, back home, but also getting more chances to go to DC and talk to people in Congress and, you know, being at the AFBF office. I'm excited for all of it.
Is it safe to say you've fully consumed the Kool-Aid of Farm Bureau?
Yes, and I never thought I would say that.
Really?
I really didn't. Like when Robert and I started this journey, we were like, oh, we're just gonna, you know, meet some cool people within the state, make some new friends. We were at that point in our life, like, this is before we had kids. We had just gotten married. Like, let's try something new as a married couple. And let's just see how this goes. And it has gone way further than I expected.
No regrets, though, right?
No, definitely not.
Awesome.
Absolutely not.
Well, let's finish with this. I want to ask you, as someone who now has gotten to experience almost all that Farm Bureau can offer someone in their 30s, or late 20s, early 30s, what would you say to someone down the street from you, across the state, in the same boat that you found yourself in 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago? What would you say to someone that's looking at young farmers, looking at Farm Bureau and saying, why is it worth my time? I mean, I know you've just spent 25, 30 minutes talking about that, but what would your, elevator pitch? I'm sitting there staring at an elevator. What would your elevator pitch be to that person?
I would say if you have just a little bit of time to invest in yourself, the amount of knowledge, information, connections, relationships that you are going to get by just investing a little bit of time is going to outweigh anything that you could possibly ever do.
I think you also have the ability to say it's going to come back to your farm in some way or another.
It will. I mean, it's diversified our farming operation so much in such a short amount of time. Like, what else is going to happen in the next 5 years, the next 10 years? Like, it's...
Yeah, that's really awesome. I think that's one of the things that I feel like we probably don't sell enough, is that, like, yes, you're helping the organization by contributing and investing into the organization, but you're also going to benefit on your own farm, whether it be from that network of somebody you can call and say, hey, I got this, I want to start my own label. What do I do? And here's the roadmap. I mean, that's dollars and cents put back in your pocket.
Oh, absolutely.
Instantly, almost. I mean,
absolutely.
You gain that membership back really quick. So
most definitely. And what's really cool is, like, I've had the opportunity to help other people, not even within our state. I've helped people in other states start flower farms. Like, how cool is that? I think it's awesome.
That's really awesome. Well, Racheal, thank you so much for sitting down. I know you got 3 kids, and Robert, telling what they're doing right now.
I think 2 of them are napping. I don't think he got the baby to sleep, but...
He's probably got them down to Starbucks or something.
Oh gosh, I hope
they're not napping. None of them are napping. But thank you for taking a few minutes and visiting with me. I love to hear about how, as someone else who also consumed the Kool-Aid, I love hearing from others that are really seeing the benefit from it and sharing your story. And you do it really well. So thank you so much. If you want to learn more about Racheal and her cut flowers, or Robert and his soybeans and cattle, we have plenty of stories on these guys. They've been around Farm Bureau for a while. We'll link those in the show notes. For everyone listening, subscribe. Please like this podcast. Leave us a review, whatever you can to help us out. We want to make sure that it's getting to all the people that it needs to get to. And this story is reaching where it needs to reach. If you're watching this on YouTube, please give it a like, subscribe to our channel there as well. And we'll see you again right here next week on the Louisiana Farm Bureau podcast.